Oh, right. Sweet. It actually worked today. I did not want to have to go into the video editor. How awesome is this shirt? This is actually like the same pattern that I had when I was a kid on my bed sheets and my curtains in my room. This is now my favorite thing that I own. And it was quite expensive too. It's my Christmas present. So anyway, enough about my awesome shirts. This is one of those few situations where I can kind of sort of knock out both online classes with one video. The first assignment is due, and what we're going to do leading up to this due date on Thursday is I want you guys to do what I call a peer response assignment. This is a pretty simple one, so this is not going to be a very long video. And which is kind of nice too, because we're coming off of the Labor Day weekend and everybody's going to be off this week. Things are just strange. So this is just going to be the only real assignment we do this week. And the paper itself is due Thursday. So it kind of makes sense to sort of slow down a little bit when a paper is due. So what I want you guys to do is in the Jump the Shark or the Oppression paper discussion forums, respectively, for the 1101 and 1010 class, I want you guys to take a draft of the paper. It can be a single page. And I want you to post your draft in the discussion forum. Now, when you share your draft, I then want you to go back in the discussion forum once posts come in. And I want you to write a response to two people, right? I want you to pick two submissions, and I want you to prioritize people who have not had a response yet. It should be pretty clear who has had a response and who hasn't. There will be a little thread underneath each of the posts. So if there are people who have not gotten a response yet, please respond to them first. Don't everybody dogpile on to the one popular dude in the group. I mean, if I was in the class, obviously everyone would respond to me because let's face it. I mean, in any case, what I want you to write about, I want you to, I'm thinking maybe about 2 paragraphs, 2 nice, well-developed paragraphs. We're talking like 7 to 8 sentences per paragraph. I really want you to try to ask some honest questions about what your classmates are writing. Now, the reason I want you to do this, there's several reasons. But first, when it comes to peer response stuff, most of the time when we have a peer review or, some type of thing where students respond to each other, they try to do very surface level stuff. They try to go in and like correct each other's grammar, which I've not seen a lot of your writing yet, but I already know you guys don't know anything about grammar, which is not me being insulting. Most people don't. Like, I was having this conversation with my wife the other day. I think only about 15% of English speakers know how to correctly use a comma. The rest are just doing it accidentally well. Like, it's very unusual for people to have good knowledge of grammar. And when you're out of an English class for a long time, so when you get into the workforce, you lose that knowledge. When I'm not teaching English 1010 for a while, when I do have to go and sort of like kind of refresh a lot of grammar concepts, I still have to go back and refresh a few things myself. So I'm not perfect either. But I seriously would say only about 15% of English speakers actually understand the grammar, which is that's a big claim, but I'll die on that hill. Most people just have absolutely no idea what they're doing. The point is, if you try to fix other people's grammar in this classroom on this assignment, you're going to do it wrong, right? So I always tell my students, vengeance belongs to God. Your grammar belongs to me. So what I want you to do instead is to try to talk more about higher order issues, which will be more important as we start adding more pages on top of these assignments. So one of the things you guys are going to struggle with, I would imagine it probably hasn't been that much of a problem with this first assignment because it's only starting in like 2 pages, right? Coffee. we're starting at 2 pages, and I would hope that you guys wouldn't struggle that much to fill 2 pages of material. If you did, that's okay, right? I mean, if you don't write very much, those types of things can be kind of difficult. But if you're having trouble filling pages, one of the easiest ways to help a partner generate more content for themselves is to actually ask questions about what they're writing and to get them to dig more beneath the surface of what they're talking about. Whether you're interested in some type of facet of the topic that they haven't covered, or it sparks your imagination to go in a completely different direction. Legitimate questions and questions that are sincere can be extremely helpful. One of the things I've struggled in my writing life is really having a community of writers and people who actually want to read my stuff. Like, people, it's kind of rare to run into someone who just like literally enjoys reading. I enjoy reading, but I don't really have a lot of people around me who enjoy the act very much just on its own. So there's also a very interesting layer to this, that one of the ways, and this is something my son asked me the other day, and it's an interesting question. He said, Dad, and keep in mind, he's in elementary school, so these are legitimate questions. I'm saying the word legitimate a lot today. This is a question very much for somebody his age. He said, Dad, how do you make friends? And I was like, well, I'm not going to lie to you, son. That's not something that I was particularly good at when I was your age. But from what I've learned over the years, one of the best ways to make friends is to ask questions, especially about things that they're interested in. Expressing a genuine interest in what somebody else is doing, in who they are, something that makes up an integral part of their being, is a really good way to kind of like go in and create, quick emotional bonds with people. And emotional bonds are extremely important. The things that make us feel connected to people, things that help us grow. But the real problem, and I would imagine most people struggle with this. So if you guys struggle with this, that's okay. That's why we're exercising it. Sincere questions are really, really tough. Like, and I'm actually kind of talking myself into a corner here, because believe it or not, this is something that I've given a lot of thought to. Most people just are not legitimately interested in what other people are doing or what they're interested in. Most people ask questions seemingly to denigrate or manipulate. Like, we're there to do a particular purpose, right? We're not honestly seeking more knowledge or connection with another human being when we ask questions. So trying to find a space where we can where we can honestly inquire for more information, where we actually interact with each other's work, that's worth practicing. Not only does it create space for more writing, but it also is a good, just general improving our human aspect. I know I have had too much. I have somehow simultaneously had too much coffee while also not having enough coffee. So in any way, this is just practicing the whole building connections with each other, which is something that's really difficult to do in the online environment anyway. We're all stuck behind computers. We're all kind of starved for connections. And even when we gather, even in a classroom, in essence, we're all forced together in a small space. And yet we can all feel incredibly isolated and lonely as well, because we all have these like little compartmentalized things that we're doing. And we don't really often connect with each other in this compartmentalization. And believe it or not, one of the biggest determining factors for success in college is actually creating your community of people who can rely on each other for things, people who will remind you about due dates, people that you can talk about assignments with, people that you can run a piece of writing by and get feedback on. Students who form community connections within their education, like within their educative body, they are typically much more successful than those who don't. When you form study groups, when you have connections and people that you can process information with, it makes a huge difference. So we're going to play around with this concept here in our writing classes. And you guys are just going to practice asking, sincere questions of each other's work. If it's awkward and it's weird and it doesn't go very well, that's fine. It's a class. We're going to play around with it. So other than the actual paper, which is due Thursday, I really don't have that much to ask of you. I might introduce the new concept, the new assignments on Thursday. I'm really excited about getting back to face-to-face class with my high school group because, believe it or not, I actually miss you guys. So in any case, that's the general idea of what I want you to do this week. All of this is for the participation points. So it's just coffee, I promise. Anyway, that's it for today. Nice, easy, gentle one. Try to get that feedback in as quick as you can. Try to get it in before the due date because you might actually help each other if you do. If not, it is a participation thing. So as long as you do it, you'll get your points. Gloriousness, once again. This was worth all $100 I spent on it. I'm not lying. You guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you all soon.